Hello, lovely. I'm Nicola. Nice to meet you. How are you? Good. Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. So I'll be carrying out your hair consultation today. And I know this is your first time here. So thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. So, why don't you get yourself comfortable on that chair? All right, my love. You're welcome. So, can I get you a drink before we begin? Anything you like, really. We've got quite a lot of different things. Yes, we've got hot chocolate. Yeah, I can do that for you. Any cream or marshmallows? Okay. Hi, would you mind doing a hot chocolate, please, with cream and marshmallows? Thank you very much. You're welcome, lovely. It shouldn't be too long, okay? So, can you just clarify your name for me? Thank you. Right, so right, when was the last time you went to the hairdresser? Okay, and what did you have? So cut, so like a trim, okay, and dyed, okay. So we established your hair isn't natural, okay. I'm guessing you're natural brunette, okay. So natural brunette, and you've dyed it that shade of brown. Is that similar to your actual hair colour? Okay, so it is different, okay. I can see you've got roots coming through, but you know, just looking at them, they don't look too bad. Yeah, I can tell that they are there and your hair is a different shade, but I don't look at them and think, oh my goodness. Alright. Okay. So, you're a natural brunette, your hair's dyed that brown. And how come you stopped going, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, so it's getting expensive and they weren't doing what you wanted them to do. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, bless you. Oh, you've not really wanted to go since. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah. Oh, no. Really? That's not very professional. I'm so sorry you went through that. You've got nothing to worry about here, okay? You're in perfectly safe hands. Alright, my lovely. Okay. Anytime if you do feel anxious or worried, you know, please just let me know. Alright? Thank you. Oh dear. That's not a very good experience, is it? Right. So okay, that's fine. I'd just like to get a background just so I know what I'm working with, okay? So prior to that, how regular were you going to the hairdressers? Okay. Yep. And what were you having? Trim and full colour. Okay. Have you ever had anything different, maybe like foils, highlights, balayage? Okay, so what kind of colours have you had in the past? my, it's quite a lot, yeah. Okay. Nice range of colours there. So, which was your favourite? Blonde and the red. Okay. Now, was it a copper red or was it like a red? Red. Okay. Not pillar box. Okay. Maybe similar shade to this? Okay, I still know what you mean. Okay. So, how long have you been brown then? Okay. Yeah. And what was you before then? Blonde. Okay. So you just fancied a change. Okay. Yeah. So they recommended it just to, you know, repair your hair and have a look after it. Okay. Do you think it was damaged or? Okay. Obviously, blonde hair, we're never going to have perfect hair because, you know, we're bleaching it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do to help it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Now, when they popped on the colour, have they been toning it as well? Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And you've been having it cut every time? Okay, so it's grown a lot in the last 6 months then. Okay. The thing is, a lot of places always encourage people to have their hair cut every time. And to be honest with you, it's not always necessary. So, for example, if you're growing your hair, you don't need to have it done every time because you are just snipping constantly and it's just not going anywhere. So what you've grown, you're just snipping off. Alright. If you're having a restyle, obviously we need to have that cut, but then you could leave it a little bit, unless it's a certain style, certain shape, which requires you to obviously keep cutting it to keep it in that desired shape and style. That makes sense. Alright. So, have you ever dyed your hair yourself at home? Yeah, so through lockdown. Okay, that's understandable. And what were you using? Oh, okay, so not too bad then. You managed to get hold of some Weller products and things. Okay, well, that's good. Right, my love. So I have an idea of your history. Now I would like to know about what you are wanting. Alright, okay. So let's start with the cut. What are you wanting? Are we wanting to grow it down a little bit more? Are we wanting to bring it up? Let me know. Okay. So you like your length, but because you haven't had it cut for a while, you would like to bring it up and, you know, make it even. Okay, now when you say bring it up, how much? Okay, so it's taking quite a bit up then. Alright. So we're looking about there, aren't we? There. Okay. So we're going about here. That's what we're thinking. So at the moment, obviously it's about here. And we want to bring it up to about there. Okay. And you want it nice and blunt. Would you like a fringe? Okay. What about a side fringe? Okay. Right. So what are you wanting me to do around your face? Because it's all nice and level as can be. Obviously it does need cutting. But are you wanting me to just feather it a little bit around your face or? Okay. Yeah? Okay. So you're quite flexible on the cut. Alright. So if I say I took off like this much, okay, leveled it all the way round so it was nice and level, nice and blunt, okay, and then maybe slightly feathered it a little bit at the bottom. I don't want to put any layers in it unless you want layers. Okay, I don't want layers. So I won't put any layers in. So then that will be nice, and if you want to keep it at that level, I would suggest that I would trim it. But if you wasn't particularly bothered, you were just going to leave it a little bit, but you're not necessarily growing it, I'd suggest, you know, not cutting it, and maybe the time afterwards or something like that. Unless you do want to grow it down, then I would say possibly leaving 2 times and then cutting it, depending on obviously how the ends are. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what are you thinking? Yeah, I mean, if you wasn't particularly bothered and you want to save a little bit of money, I would suggest having it done, and then I would leave it and then have a cut next time. Does that make sense? Good. Save you a little bit of money. Yeah, and we could still style it for you, blow dry it, straighten it or curl it or something like that. Okay, so it will be still nice and pampered. Yeah, does that sound all right? Good. Okay, now colour. What are you wanting? So you're wanting to come away from the brunette. Okay. Now, does that mean totally? Or are you wanting me to go a little bit lighter and have different shades of brown throughout, or some highlights or even some lowlights and have some different colours coming through, maybe reds or purples or something? Or are we wanting to say go totally red or copper, or are we going to be going back blonde? Okay, so you wouldn't rule out blonde, okay, and maybe highlights and different browns. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some pictures. Okay, so these are for colour purposes, but you might like some of the styles too. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so this is quite blunt. It's probably going to be about the same length for you, obviously all the way around, okay? Maybe it's just a tad there. So that's basically the kind of length. Now, is your hair naturally straight or curly? Okay. So this is kind of a bit like a root drag, okay? And this is foils throughout, okay? Now, what are your thoughts on that? Okay, so obviously we're going to have to work our way up to get you a blonde. Now, we could, you know, go light shades of brown all over, or start putting highlights through and then getting more and more and then gradually doing it. Or I could go straight in and work with a forehead bleach and tone, alright, but it's not going to be at the desired effect straight away, and obviously that is more damaging. But, you know, it isn't impossible, but, you know. Okay, so you quite like that. Now this is a copper shade. Yeah? I'm not too sure. Okay. And this is a different shade of copper. Okay. Now we could do something like this. It is better on longer hair, but if you're keeping your hair to about here, we should be able to do it. So this is a balayage. So you can see we've got the brown, and then you've got the highlights throughout, and it's done a certain way, and then it makes it look like that. Obviously that is wavy, so you quite like that, but not necessarily that shade of blonde. Okay, I'll leave that there. Now, something a bit daring. Okay. Now this is another shade of brown with a little bit of like copper running through it. It's quite nice, isn't it? Okay. Now this is what I meant by feathering around your face. So something like this. I mean, is your parting as it is now where it normally is? Okay, so you could do something like this. It would look quite nice, but obviously yours is going to be a little bit longer. Quite like that? Okay, and what about the colour? Okay, so you're liking that. Okay. Now this is some blondes. Okay. Now this is quite a dark colour, and it's darker than your shade at the moment, but you can see the light little bits of blonde through. But obviously that would mean we're going to go darker and then pop some blonde through. Okay. Now this is a very silvery grey platinum type colour, but to get to that stage that's going to be a while. Okay, and that's not the shade you want. Okay. Now this is a blonde, but it's again different shades. So are we liking more the yellower blonde? Are we liking more platinum blonde? Are we liking more white, more ashy? Are we like cool or warm? What kind of things? Okay, so that's a little bit yellowy for you. Okay. And I know you don't want to go darker, but this hairstyle is gorgeous. It is obviously a bit more daring, but one side is longer than the other. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I do think it would really suit you. Right, but if you wanted to keep your length, obviously we need to avoid that. Now, this is quite on trend, very nice. It's very wispy, kind of choppy, but that would involve a lot of layering. Alright, and obviously a lot shorter than what you're wanting. But what do you think of this colour? It's a bit darker than your actual shade, but the lighter bits coming through. Okay. Now this is the balayage again. Got your dark bit and different colours through in the blonde. Quite like that. It's definitely a good way to start, whether it is a balayage or just generally straight through foils. Alright. Bit too dark. Okay. That's just a hair at the front. Yeah. Too much fringe. Now if you're liking blonde, you might like this. Yeah. So you quite like that shade. It's a little bit of a root drag. But we could bring the foils right up. Doing it like that will obviously protect your hair, and it will help with the regrowth so you can't see it so much. It will blend a lot nicer. Okay, so you do like that one. So this is obviously longer, lots of choppy layers at the bottom. This is probably more your brown than your blonde. Okay. You don't like the coppers, do you? Okay. Now this is a lighter brown with different types of browns throughout, like caramels, yeah, honeys and different things like that. You don't like that. Okay. So you won't like that one then, because you don't like the perfect. Now this is actually really nice and it would suit me, but I know you don't want the fringe. Yeah? What do you think of this? See, root drag again. Quite like that. Quite like the cut. So you like the cut and the colour on that one? Okay. It's quite long still, but your hair that you want would be longer, so it won't look as defined. Now, you might like this. So, the other one, nice and blonde. You quite like that. Underneath on this one, it's quite dark. Obviously, we could work with what you've already got there, or we can pop a darker colour on or a lighter brown and then blend it in, so we don't necessarily have to use what you have there. Okay. So that. Quite nice, isn't it? Quite nice length. It's going to be, that's a little bit shorter than you're wanting, but you know, it has got some layering in it and things like that. But you quite like that. What about the colour? Not particularly. Okay, so you want to come away from something like that. Now ignore the cut, but what about the colour? No. Okay. Is it because it's too brown? But let's look at that cut. It's stunning. Yeah, you like that, but you wouldn't want that. Okay. Now, I know this blonde isn't the kind of shade that you want, but, you know, what do you think? Okay. Have we got to the bottom? So you won't like that or that. Right, so this style is sort of the length that you were wanting. Yours may be a little bit longer, but it's got a fringe. You don't really want that, and obviously that's kind of layering. But what do you think of the blonde? Too warm. Okay. Too brown. Okay. So that'll be too brown. So obviously you can see here it's nice and straight, and then this one wavy. Here we've got different kind of shades of blonde throughout. Okay, so you quite like that. Okay, and you don't want that one. Okay, right, we're back to the beginning now. Right. Just going to pop these away, otherwise I'm going to get mixed up. We don't want that. Okay. So we seem to be swaying towards the blondes. Okay. Okay, so we're not keen on that one now. So you're quite liking, say, a chocolatey brown, if you was going to have some brown, and then like a really nice kind of platinum type of blonde. So you'll get a toner to kind of give you that full effect. Great. So this is my colour book. I will show you all the shades, but I'm feeling that to get your desired look, we need to go straight in with bleach, because your hair is obviously a brown. However, your brown is quite a light brown, so it's not too dark, if you know what I mean. You could be a lot darker. Yeah, obviously your roots are slightly bit darker, so got to bear that in mind. But to get the desired lift, we'll probably have to go straight in with the bleach. I will do a strand test just to make sure, because you might be fine with just going in for a high lift tint, which is kind of the step down from bleach, if you like, or we could just go with a permanent, semi-permanent kind of colour. But again, I just don't know how that's going to take on your hair, how it's going to lift, or how it's going to look. Alright, now usually if we use kind of semi-permanent and things, we don't really need to pop on a toner in particular. We can do. Sometimes that gives the right colour, if you know what I mean, but you can use those as a toner as well, if that makes sense. Yeah. But depending on the process of what we want to do. Now, are we wanting full head foils? Usually if I do full head foils, we do a bleach. But then if you want different shades of blonde, I could do bleach foils, then I could do, say, different shades of high lift tints or the permanent colours and mix them through. Then you're going to get different shades of blonde. So it's going to be lighter but different shades, just while we go through the process of lighting your hair. Yeah. For example, I'm naturally brunette and I've been blonde for so many years. Last year I decided to go a lot darker, just to help repair my hair, and I was just having a moment, and I did, and to be honest with you, I hated it, and it's come to the right time for me to start going lighter again. And I was doing it gradually with foils and, you know, different things like that. And we tried like a high lift tint, as well as we started with the semis first and then we went to a high lift tint, and it still wasn't enough lift, so we just had to stick to full bleach basically. Some hairs take great with it, others don't. Mine is just dreadful, doesn't like it. But obviously when the toners are on the blonde, it is amazing. I've still got a little bit of a way to go, but you know, we're getting there. So I'm wanting to probably to go, you know, a little bit more like the lighter shades that you can see, and just more balance it over, and then just kind of keep it fresh. Yeah, nothing too much, but I'm not too sure what your kind of thing is. I mean, let me just show you. So these are the high lift tints. Okay, so I'm thinking something like this ash for you. So we could pop that all over, but you're not going to get it exactly that colour because of your hair. So you probably will have to tone it. Okay, we could bring this through and do it like highlights or something like that, balayage, or we can kind of use this and this, even though that's just like a semi, or we could use this and this and bring them in and blend them through. All right, or we could use the bleach and that maybe as well, so like bleach foils and then this and this as well, or something like that, and maybe like a root drag of a brown, maybe similar to your natural colour, and we could do it that way for a little bit while we're getting your hair lighter and lighter, if that's something that sounds interesting to you. I mean, like this is like a blonde booster, so it just gives it a big boost. you know, and you've got, this is like a silver intensifier, so this will help neutral it a little bit. This is going to give you a pearl effect, silver effect, platinum, rose effect, and rose gold, and different things like that. So which you just kind of pop on top. Yellow, red, violet, blue. You want to avoid those. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, some of my older ladies like this kind of shade, and they kind of, you know, blend the two. It's quite nice. So you don't want any of these orangey, copper, brown kind of shades, and you don't want to go to the reds. Okay. And same for the purpley kind of shades. All right, so you don't want these because they're too brown. This is a light blonde, but that's too warm for you. These are light blondes, but they're quite warm, mixed with browns a little bit. And obviously these are not your shades. So you can see here we've got different types of blondes as well. So like your warm blondes, very light mousy browns. Got obviously cappuccino milk chocolates. That's a nice colour to have maybe on your roots, or to have some throughout. So we'd kind of pop it on to your highlights and then pop that on in between, and that will give you the different shades. Yeah. That's too warm. These are warm, like honey kind of shades. You got your, you know, this is quite a nice colour. That's a nice one. See, these are where you can bring in your blondes, but they're not too over the top to start with. Yeah, something like that. And here, obviously, you've got your blue, your blacks, darker browns. They're too dark for you. This is when you start dark blonde and your blondes through. That's the lightest blonde there, but that's very yellowing. This is quite a natural shade of blondes, different shade of blondes. And here, like your ash kind of blondes, natural kind of shades. So they're all going to give you a different effect. So some would look at this and think, well, that's quite brown, that's quite dark, but it's just different types of blondes. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Yeah. So I don't, natural ash, cool, natural no, Nordic ash no, goldens definitely not, all natural no, chestnuts no, cocoa, dark mocha, that might be an okay shade to have at the top. And we don't want any of those, we don't want any of those, not those. And back there. Okay. See, that ice blonde is nice. That kind of gives that vibes, you know. Also with the ash, I could do the bleach and then I could possibly even tone it in something like this. Yeah. It's a bit too yellow, that one. Golden blonde. Okay. Let's decide. What are we thinking we want to go for? Are we going to go for just highlights throughout on what your hair is at the moment? Start straight in with bleach and find a perfect toner. Okay, what about if I match maybe let's put like this or something like that to your natural. So you can bring that as a root drag down, and then we can kind of go into the different shades of blonde, or we could have this as an all over colour and then the blondes throughout. Okay, so if you just, are you wanting to go full blonde? So you do like the balayage effect, but you're thinking more. So do you quite like the root drag, kind of that effect? You do, but you think you'd rather go right to the top. Okay, kind of makes it a lot easier. So even though that's quite nice, you feel like it's too much brown. All right. Okay. So then, my love, I think best option is to go in with your hair, that kind of shade. I feel like we should do full head foils of bleach and a high lift tint of this shade, and possibly that. Now they will all take different because of the colour of your hair, what it is already, but obviously they will be slightly different because there are different kind of ones, but that will give you the effects of the different blondes. But if you just want it kind of all in and a colour, then I could go in with, we could try this. I could put that on all over if you wanted and then tone it, but it's not going to be at the desired look because of the colour we're at the moment. So I think if we kind of build it up a little bit first, then we could get to that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Right. So I am going to write down what I think we're going to do. Okay. So if I do the bleach foils throughout, I will do loads of foils. Okay, make sure I get a lot compacted in there. And then I feel like we should put the high lift tint in between. So I'll give you two different tones, and then obviously I'd tone it. And I'd tone it one of these shades, like the ash colour. Okay, so it matches. So then you, by looking at it, you won't actually see any brown, if that makes sense. Okay. But obviously it won't be, I'll get it as close as I can, but obviously we have to bear in mind the colour of your hair at the moment. I will obviously make sure I use a good enough strength to make it lift, and use it the correct amount of time to make sure it lifts, okay, without doing damage. So you will be here for quite some time, okay. Okay. Right. Are we happy with my suggestions? Okay, good. So have a think about it, but I think we should go in straight for the bleach. Okay, foils throughout as many as possible, really pop it in. Okay, then a high lift tint in between, okay, as like the all over colour, and then I tone it with something like this kind of shade. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. How's that sound? Good. Trust me, it's going to look amazing. Right. So we're happy with that. I'm sorry, I don't know where your drink is. don't know what they're taking their time for. Hang on a moment. Stacey, come. Do you know what the hold up is with their hot chocolate? Right. Okay. Can you do it, please? I've been waiting very patiently. Thank you. Sorry about that. Seems she got sidetracked. A few others to do in that and then got distracted. I can only apologise. It doesn't look very good, does it? I'm so sorry. Oh, bless you. I suppose we were just getting carried away, wasn't we, with everything anyway? So that's fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I just want to have a look at your hair. Let me just feel it. It feels really strong, soft, it looks glossy. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, I could really work with that. Okay. Right, I'm going to take some of your hair now. Just a little bit so I can do a strand test, okay? Now luckily we're having it cut off anyway, so I'm going to take this bit from your end there. Okay, keep nice and still for me just so I can grab. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Please help yourself to your drink. My apologies again. Right. Yeah, it's fine. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to get my gloves. I'm just mixing up, okay? Right, so I'm going to pop a little bit of this on just behind your ear. Okay, just let that dry. I will also try the tint in a moment. Now, just just doing the strand test. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to have to take off those and leave that on the side. So I'm going to monitor this, okay? Okay, there we go. Perfect. So I'll monitor that and see how we get on. Okay. So that one. That one. That's fine. So we'll see what there is in that time. Is that so we've got perfect. Right, just going to get the tint. Okay, if I can have your other ear, please. Right. Both patch tests are done. You can leave them on as long as possible, preferably, you know, overnight. But to be honest with you, a couple of hours is usually enough. Yeah. If you're going to get a reaction, usually, you know, within the first couple of hours, so if you're not red, no swelling, no itching or anything like that, then it's perfectly fine. Okay, that's all good. Right, do you have any questions, my love? You sure? Okay, great. So, would you like me to buck you in? Okay. How soon would you like? Okay, well, let me just see if I've got anything. I could do maybe definitely going into next month now. Either the 1st or the 5th. How's that? Okay. And do 8. Yep. Excellent. That's all booked in for you. So let me just put booked. Yeah, I can give you a cost, not a problem. So obviously it's your first time, so we're doing quite a bit. So we've got foils and full head. And we've got toner. I'll just charge you for one toner. If we do have to use another one, I won't charge you with that, okay? Cut. Okay, and then you want a treatment. So plus that, and that one is that as well. Okay, so that's £218. That's including forehead foils of bleach, lots, a forehead colour of the High Lift tint, then a toner, just charging for the one. Then we've got the Wellaplex treatment and the SP treatment. and the cut and the finish. That's £218 altogether. Okay, but don't worry, it's not going to be that much every single time. Okay, are you sure you're happy to continue? Good, wonderful. Do you have any questions for me? Are you sure? Okay, my love. Are you happy with everything? Good. So, my love, I'm happy with everything too. So, if you want to take your hot chocolate and your biscuits and go and sit on that comfy sofa over there and just chill out and finish that, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, you can do that. All right, my lovely. Look through the magazines or something like that. It's totally up to you. All right. You're very welcome, and I will see you in a few weeks. All right. I hope everything's self-explanatory, and we'll just go with the flow. But if you have any problems with the patch test, please let me know, and I'll keep an eye on the strand to see how it develops. And then obviously any problems we just tweak when I see you. You will be quite a few hours, potentially 4 or 5 hours. All right, my lovely. You're very welcome. You take care now. Bye-bye.